going to VAR. They're checking.
Hey, Kai.
Check complete. Let's head over to the bar.
Yo, what it do? We're back again with us, Bar. It's your boy Munya. I'm back in the building. What we saying, lads?
We out here, man.
Good.
What's good, people?
Active.
Oh
Active,
man,
active.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what's in the air today, but I'm feeling good. I don't know, man. But I'm feeling good, man. Yeah, Tabo, what you say, my bro?
Come on.
I must be smiling the whole day.
Yeah, a couple of man checked in the W hotel. Couple of man got told, "Hey, the credit card ain't insufficient funds." They said, "Get out of here, man." Yeah, man. It's been a big week of football, as you all guys know. Football's coming in left, right, and centre, and there's a lot to keep up. So we're going to go straight into it, and we're going to go straight into the Europe games. Liverpool had their second leg fixture. Andy, talk to us, bro. I think you can agree with many Liverpool fans. It was quite frustrating, but you guys managed to break through and get the goal.
Yeah. Watching that game, you could just tell that Leipzig just wanted to hit us. They just wanted to came out the blocks quick, tried to attack our right hand side again as usual, Trent's side, but you know it wasn't to be. First half was extremely frustrating. We missed our chances. They had a couple of chances as well, but I think overall we defended well. Second half it was the same story, but eventually we saw, we conquered, man. Gave them
2-0, wasn't it?
2 else, man. Yeah, man. Salah and Mane again. Yeah.
You mentioned there a good point. You said they tried to attack Trent. Char, I'm going to come to you, man, because as we all know, you've been very critical. Do you think teams are now looking to target Trent more than Robinson?
Been like that.
Probably target every single one of that back four recently, to be honest. But I think I've always think it's been like that. Yeah, as Drew said, I always think if you're planning, I think even when Van Dijk and stuff was fit, and obviously Gomez, I think if you're planning which areas to probably exploit in the Liverpool team is always their right hand side, simply because I think it's usually Gomez and Trent over on that side. But I think it's more alarming now. If you watch Liverpool, they have no fear going down that side. But yeah, I think he's out the two wing backs, Robertson and Trent. He's probably definitely the weakest defensively.
But in that game, yeah, bro, as a collective, we defended well, man. That was one of the few games where I was like, yeah, we held back on the Leipzig, because Leipzig there was a point where they were just coming in at waves, but Phillips played well, Kabak played well, Trent especially also played well, Robertson as well. So I was pretty happy with our defensive performance that game.
So through to the next round, would you say now, looking at your league position, what's the priority? Champions League or the actual league
not
itself?
Get relegated.
Bro, I can't lie to you, yeah. The priority is not to enter that Uefa Conference. Because if we enter that, that's shameful, bro.
What's the positions for that again?
I don't know, boy, but we're there.
Depends
That's
who
what I
wins the
know.
cups as well, doesn't it? On the position for that.
What's that?
It depends on who wins the cups for the Carabao, the FA Cup, for the positions for the
That's true.
Euro
That's true as
League
well,
and
yeah.
all that. But I think it's 7th for the
Sixth,
Conference League.
seventh. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, man, we're in and around. I think Champions League is a realistic target, knowing who we are. But yeah, in regards to the Premier League, top 4, let's see how we do against Wolves today. Then I'll get back to you on that, man.
And sticking on that Premier League game, obviously you guys will be kicking off later against Wolves. Now, what's your expectations going into that game? Because Wolves have been quite tricky. They've been quite up and down. As you know, they beat Arsenal. They give teams a hard game, get draws out of teams. I think they've done the double against Chelsea. I'm not sure.
We drew and lost.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So, they've given the big teams some tough games. Now, Jota, I think this is the first time he's playing against Wolves since he moved.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's going to have something to prove, but they're also going to want to push me back to him. Do you see this being a smooth sailing game?
To be honest, we have a very good record against Wolves. We've got back-to-back doubles against them. So naturally this game is gonna be totally different. I've actually got no hope, but at the same time, I feel like
I think it's a comfy dub for you lot.
Yeah, I mean, if the players have sense, if they see Chelsea drop points, they know that Spurs also drop points, so they know that if they win, they can have a sniff again for the top four. So they need to go all out, man. I'm saying 2-0 win, man. Salah and Jota.
All right, say no more. We've So moving against your noisy neighbours who you are, you've been having some back and forths in the week with Prez. Man United, I'm going to stick with you, Peter, as well. Boy, you guys had Charles said it when you saw the fixture, AC Milan would be a hard game. But coming into the game, Milan had a lot of injuries. Now, that obviously gave you guys some positives. You should have probably... The draw was probably the fair result, would you say, no?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think for large parts of the game, AC Milan were the better team. And especially in that first half, they were getting in behind quite a lot through Rafael Leao, the man who was leading the line for them. And yeah, there was just, various opportunities early on for AC Milan to get in behind and test our keeper. And they were actually quite unlucky to have that goal from Frank Kessie, who balled out, by the way, to have that goal disallowed. It was a nice half volley that he took really well, and the goal was ruled out from VAR. But I think, generally, all in all, there wasn't really... it was a fair result, I think, 1-1. They got their goal in the end. Diallo had to come on and rescue us, getting his first senior goal for the team.
Goal, man.
It was a really, 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 really good goal. Intelligent finish. Reminded me of I don't know if you remember Chicharito a few years back against Chelsea.
Yeah. I was thinking that goal actually.
Yeah, and kind of took it in, took on the header in a weird angle. So it kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, it's kind of a shame that we had to. Obviously Martial went off injured and Diallo came on second half, but. We had to kind of rely on, a fairly inexperienced youngster who is, bags of talent, granted, but I feel like we had enough talent on the pitch to get the game wrapped up at home, especially. But we didn't do that, so we're now under pressure coming into the second leg, going to AC's ground, San Siro. So we'll wait and see what happens second leg.
Just want to touch on your new star boy. Obviously, you there referenced it to Chicharito. It was an intelligent finish, and it's what you want to see. It was. I said it at the time. It's going to be it's built for him. I think was it Martial that came off for half time on an injury.
Martial,
yeah, and then he comes on. You're just thinking, boy, this is it. Tabo, what did you make of it? The young lad coming on at half time and then doing that.
Yeah, man, I think we kind of spoke about it in the group chat. I was really happy for the guy. I always like to see young players prosper, man. But yeah, great finish, as Prez said, with some Chicharito vibes. Definitely commend him. Let's see if he's going to get any more chances and what he can do for the rest of the season, man.
So the second fixture is obviously the return leg in Milan. Char, how did you see that going?
Boy, I think it's if we're going by statistics, then our away record is pretty good. I'm actually approaching most away games thinking we should be able to get a result. Whether we do is another thing, but I think we've got the big news. I think more than anything else, I think we've got 5 players back fit. I think Beasley might be fit, Cavani, Martial. And I think Van der Beek is going to be fit, so that's just massive for us anyway. I think we could. I'm confident, but I'm not overly confident because at the end of the day, it's still a massive stadium. They might not have been as good as they've been in previous years, but they're still AC Milan. So you got to play the game and not necessarily the occasion. But I'm confident.
Cool. So obviously, going to be a tricky game. We've been interested to see how you guys. Zatlaan might be back. I don't know if anyone's been catching the news. There's no updates about Zatlaan, if he's going to be available for that game.
I think it's hit and miss still. I think it's hit and miss.
Monyo, who's back? Who?
Zlatan.
Leave him, man.
Funny.
But yeah, no, I think it's hit and miss for now. But hopefully he's not, obviously. But it'll be good to see him.
Cool. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, and obviously in episode 56 we'll have the results. Our forward C Strider is actually unavailable, but luckily we have a part-time resident Spurs fan. That's our boy Toast. What are you saying, Tosin?
You man are a bunch of fools. I can't lie.
Man. So Spurs had their first game against Dynamo. Is it Dynamo Zagreb?
Zagreb.
Two, isn't it? That's the one. Easy routine win for them. Your boy Sir Harold's bags.
Yeah, I mean, what was the score? What was the score of the game? 2-0.
2-0.
I think he scored twice. Yeah, I mean, when you get Harry Kane playing instead of Vinicius in these like rounds of the tournament, you get into like the crunch time minutes. So I'm not surprised that Mourinho put out a pretty strong side, man. But yeah, 2-0, pretty comfortable victory for Tottenham, man. No surprises really.
What I found funny about that is after the game, leading up to the North London derby, which we'll go into soon, Mourinho does his usual mind games. Now, Jake, as a Chelsea fan, how did you find it when Mourinho was trying to tell us that Harry Kane might be injured and giving Arsenal fans a bit of hope? How did you find it as a Chelsea fan when you were with Mourinho on all these mind games? Did you enjoy them, or did you think they're quite pointless?
First time round, I loved them. I thought they were hilarious, but this was obviously like a new experience, wasn't it, back then? His bravado. But then, I mean, Mourinho's changed. You look at Mourinho's career, and ever since the Madrid scandal and saga that he had, like, he's been awful for it. He's gone to a new level of rubbish, I'll put it. Like, first year and second year at Chelsea, but then you think of the third year with Hazard, Costa and Fabregas all getting injured and him putting them as scapegoats. You think of the United years, like I'm pretty sure President Char is still haunted by that.
Every day.
And now it's the exact same. It's the exact same at Spurs. Like he always promises to be positive, and he's turned over a new leaf. He's a new man, and then he just delves right back into it. I mean, I messaged the boys after the game, and it was a Sky Sports headline about Jose's article, and it still works to a degree, but he's blaming the loss on the big players not turning up, which happened, but then the referee being tired. What? Like how? Like, but that's obviously his talking point. It is ridiculous. Like I said, as a Chelsea fan, first time around, I loved it, but you can sense he's
getting boring now.
Yeah.
It's no longer entertaining. It's just like, allow it now.
Yeah.
It's sad.
So over to Tottenham's noisy neighbours, Arsenal. We had our fixture against a team. It was funny because, boy, the trolls, I know Andy had a burner account there. People were saying how Arsenal turned this into a revenge game. As you know, sadly, or for Arsenal fans anyway, Olympiacos knocked us out last year of this group. Still pains me now, 120th minute. So we had the chance to go back to Greece. And yeah, I'll say it, get some revenge, obviously. Like, they knocked us out. We need to get them back. Arsenal became eventual winners after a sticky game, as per. We just don't learn from our mistakes. We give away goals again. We took the lead, which was good, first time for a while. And yeah, Leno, I think we discussed it in the Burnley game. You had to say it was Xhaka. Leno had a bit of blame in that one. But this goal that we conceded, it was all Leno. I mean, I've been Leno's number one fan, but he has to learn from this one. Giving the ball straight back into it. Shalom, what did you take from the comeback from the boys, though?
It's typical Arsenal. We always end up being our worst enemy. And if you kind of peel back the games which we've done well, but then shut ourselves, like the Wolves game, it's just typical Arsenal. And like I said last time, that Xhaka mistake against Burnley, I still hold Leno partly responsible, as well as Xhaka, for that mistake. And the same thing kind of reared its ugly head again against Olympiacos. But in terms of the game itself, we should have won that game. Olympiacos are really bad, and they're champions of Greece. They're compared to Arsenal, they're really bad. So we should have won that game. But Jesus Christ, Gabriel's header, wow.
What a header, man.
Yeah, that was a great header.
What a header.
That was a nuts header.
So embarrassing from the Olympiacos club. They're trying to say it was a foul, but he just out-leaped the fella.
He just did. It's nuts because the only kind of strategy you can do there is what's his name did. Just lay down there and cry to the ref and hope VAR Villa did, and VAR bust you out of prison. But clearly that didn't happen. We take it. But yeah, it was a game which we should have won. We did win, but in Arsenal fashion, we had to make it hard for ourselves, and which we did. So it had everything. So yeah, Arsenal fan can't complain.
And it's again good to see Arsenal show some character, come back from a goal down, and even so not even from a goal down to get that equaliser, but to get 3 goals. I mean, this is Arsenal, so I say this with a pinch of salt. More or less, we're through to the next round. We've obviously got to play the other game. What I did like though is the first goal for Arsenal, Martin Ødegaard. I mean, me and Tabo have been praising him, but a certain man, Mitchel, you're telling him to get taken off.
But that Mitch don't know ball. That's
I've
the
been
thing.
waiting for this, man.
You know what it is? Mitch he just says enough in it. He says bare stuff in it. So like one lands, I was like 10.
Obviously, I'll be honest with you. He did start playing well after about 20 minutes. But I'll say this, and I'm not going to be the only one that's going to say it, to be honest. In the first 15 to 20 minutes, he just was not performing. He was giving away the ball in good positions. I know he obviously had the best passing percentage, whatever it is, but he was giving away the ball when we were in an advanced position, and he's meant to be the creator in the team. So if he's not doing the job, I'll be the first to say any player.
I agree with that. I agree with you on that. But let me.
Mate? So Andy, you go.
Yeah. But let me tell you why Ødegaard is probably top 2 best players. Because he's actually someone that you need. And in that Spurs game, obviously you guys are going to touch on that. But in the Spurs game, it was even more evident that in the Olympiacos game, where him and Emil Smith Rowe really bounced off each other. In the Olympiacos game, who is doing what he did with that goal? No one.
This is what that's.
So he's someone that you need, bro. He's the X factor in your team.
Now, I wouldn't say he's the X factor. I wouldn't say that. He's not the X factor. He's pivotal. He's pivotal in the way we play now. But I wouldn't say he's the X factor.
But Mitch, have you considered that? Obviously, as we said before, that he hadn't played for 6 months, so obviously he had to get his groove. He's in a new league, but so far, like you can't deny that. Yeah. You can see that he's progressing as each game goes on. Like he's getting stronger and stronger.
Do you guys think he makes?
What I want everyone, all the listeners, to understand, please. It's not. I'm against Ødegaard. I'm not against. I want Arsenal players to do well.
Bro, we hear you. We hear you in the clubhouse, bro.
No, I'm just saying.
So what, do you Arsenal man think he makes you guys better? Or do you think he's playing well?
This is what I'm saying to you.
No, he's playing well, but I think next year, like if he's to stay on,
I think Smith Rowe can do exactly. Like when we were playing with Smith Rowe with Ødegaard down the middle, we were still we were a team that was improving, and it's the same now. We're a team that's improving. But
can I say
2 different types of players, which gives
let
us
him land.
It's not a bad thing. We've got 2 options. We've got Smith Rowe, who can run beyond the attacking lines and break the defensive lines, whereas Ødegaard likes to play in front of the defenders. So I don't mind it, especially when you have both of them on the pitch. It's even better.
It's sick.
So,
yeah, as you said, with both of them on the pitch, I feel like that could be a combination that could work in the future going on. And obviously, if Ødegaard carries on performing like this, I feel like maybe it may not be a permanent, but we might be able to still keep him next season for the remainder of next season, like how Danny stayed. But yeah, man,
Smith Rowe though, Emil, my guy, come on, Emil.
It worked. Like Tabo, you just said it there. I think it worked having them both on the pitch. Personally, I think Ødegaard does make us better.
Yeah.
I think so too, man.
I see it in him, like, he can change the game. He's done it against Olympiacos. Yes, the goal will go into the game yesterday, it hit deflection, but, he's got that. And with Emil, I think alongside Shalom, one of the biggest supporters for him is Martin Keough. He loves the guy. And I see what Shalom says. Like, I didn't really see it myself, but especially in the North London derby, which again, let's just go straight into it, man. Obviously, as you guys all know, it was a big one. Like, it was a big one, and
Big.
I think. Man, I'm gonna get emotional because
the game was a lot bigger than us for Arsenal.
The way our season has been, and people may look at it like, oh, what is this your cup final? You could say that, but it's been a really poor season for Arsenal. And had we lost this game, it would have just dented the whole season. I mean, not saying obviously, Prez loves to say this. We've jumped from 10th to 10th. We're putting pressure on Villa and dare I say it, Liverpool.
Yeah, money.
I mean, we're only 4 points. We're only 4 points off Tottenham, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say this, but they say the league never lies. But I think in Arsenal's position, I don't think it is. I think it's lying. Because in most situations, hear me out.
Shalom's been very optimistic about his team, boy.
Hear me out. No, hear me out. I think, like I said earlier, that we tend to shoot ourselves in the foot. So we are our own author of our mistakes and our own downfall. So if we take that out of the equation, I think Arsenal are doing better than the league shows. That's my position.
You lost a lot of games early, man.
Those games killed us.
That actually makes sense because as you said, that we've just given it away. Like, we have the stats that show we have the most errors leading to goals. We eliminate that. We pick up points.
To be honest, for someone that like you guys know my thoughts and feelings towards Arsenal, innit? If I'm being very subjective, innit? A lot of the games you guys actually have lost, you don't get ripped in it, is by the mistake or by the.
And we shouldn't have lost them. It's games we shouldn't have lost.
Don't get ripped. I do get.
Look at Burnley. Burnley's 3 points.
We could be here all day talking about that. The Leicester game, we give them one chance to score. Burnley, Wolves.
I do agree with that.
We just need
to
learn.
Mistakes are part of Arsenal.
Sorry, so what's that, Char?
Mistakes are part of football, so you can't necessarily just say,
it is. But we make it. We make more mistakes than the average team, and
I think Prez's point was what was key to say that we lost a lot of games early on, which have put us in this situation.
I think you lost like 8 games by Christmas. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and that was kind of in a row. If you think about it, it was like we hadn't collected anything. Plus, there was no goals, so it was really a stinky sort of. I think it was after the first 5 games. After that, that's when it just went all downhill. After the Man United game, but since then we've also picked up. We've been picking up in form and winning games. Obviously, a couple of L's and draws here and there, but the form has been what we expected at the start of the season, I'd say. So, yeah,
it can only get better. But
hopefully,
more on yesterday's big result. I think it just gives us the hope that we can put pressure on the teams above us. We went down. Mitchell. I mean. Actually, Toast, boy, I know this is quite hard for you because obviously we played your second team. It was written, wasn't it? The way we started attacking, Emil Smith-Rowe hits the bar with a great shot, and then typical Tottenham, 1 chance, 1 goal. What a goal, by the way! I'm a footballing man, and I gotta clap my hands for Eric Lamela.
Great goal, man!
I screamed, man.
Yeah.
So Tosin, how did you find the response from your team, man?
Yeah, man. It was a great response, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like you pointed out, when Emil Smith-Rowe hit the bar and we were kind of having most of the possession, Tottenham didn't even have a shot. I think in the first 30 minutes up until the Lamela goal. I was thinking, man, it's gonna be one of those days, man. This is just the history of the Arsenal, But it was a great response. A well taken goal from Ødegaard. Yeah, it was a deflection, but I think in those positions, you just have to be confident enough to get your foot on it. And I always say, hit the target, if you hit the target, you know what I mean? There's a chance of the goal going in. You look at the likes of Lacazette, who I'll get onto later, who is dummying shots, and there's no one behind him, there's no one calling him, just doing dumb stuff. So I'm glad that Ødegaard was confident enough to get the strike, And we obviously went on to win the game. Some people think it was a dubious penalty. But again, if that was Kane down the other end, nobody would have batted an eyelid, So I'm delighted that the boys got a result. I think overall there's a lot of frustration like from my end in terms of I just still feel like the personnel we currently have are just kind of papering over cracks. Like I don't see this side being the Arsenal side of the future. Like, and I'm finding it very difficult at the moment to get behind a lot of the players because they're just simply not good enough, you know. And yeah, it's a fantastic result in a derby, but next game, these are the same players that people will be screaming at the TV at and sending voice notes in a group chat at. So it's difficult to get too high.
You have to name names, Tosin.
Or too low. It's difficult to get too high or too low with this Arsenal team at the moment, man. Because like I said, I'm just struggling to get behind a lot of these players who are just not good enough. Like simple, man.
I mean, like we just won the North London derby, and it feels like we lost. Like,
and the thing is, like, you boys say I'm a Tottenham fan, I'm this, I'm that. But the thing is, like, I've come from seeing the team winning league titles, you know. So for me, my standards are always going to be high, you know. Like Arsenal,
he's at in the young boys.
No.
Say that you man, you
can I just say
for me? Sorry, one last thing, Mitch. Someone pointed out at the beginning of the weekend, win, lose or draw, Arsenal still going to be 10th. Like that. That's not my football club, innit? That's not something I've ever known, you know. So that's why I say it's difficult to get too high or too low because regardless of result, we're stuck in the mud. So.
Okay. Toast, any positives? Just any positives from you?
Absolutely, man. Ødegaard is a positive, man. He's one of the players that I obviously, based on, like, for me, it's all well and good, like playing well, doing well for the team, but he's a player in an attacking position, so you've got to be getting returns, you know, and he's been involved in quite a few, and I think a goal in all three of our last 3 games, you know, so yeah man, I've got to be positive, you know, so yeah, definitely Ødegaard is a positive, absolutely.
Yang dropped.
Yeah, thanks, Prez. I was actually going to mention that as well. Man,
he's still in traffic now, I hear, by the way.
What's that?
I just say before you cover the actual story, yeah. Arteta had to win that game yesterday. Just saying, like
to justify the thing, innit?
Bro, if he didn't win that game yesterday,
but then listen to this. I feel like as well, Mitch did touch on this yesterday. I'm not sure if it was in VARBAR or in a different chat, but he did speak on it to say, obviously, Arteta has to keep that that same kind of vim for Aubameyang, because he's meant to be the captain, leading by example. And if he's if he's constantly late or whatever, what example is that? And if he gets
if the facts are true, then I agree, that should happen.
It's not even that. The worst thing is it's the North London derby, like our biggest game of this season. You can't be late for that game as a skipper. You just can't be. Impossible, because you know every team has that one game that they always look forward to. When the fixture list comes out, this is the one for us. This is the one. Arsenal at home. Arsenal at home against.
I think he did the right thing, bro. I think he did the right thing. Obviously, as someone said, if he did lose, then obviously would have been complaining. But
even still though, like I feel like Azet's probably the right man for this fixture compared to Aubameyang.
What I find interesting, Mendy, though, it's just that, like, when was the decision made? Because I find it mad that he probably prepared all week for the couple of days he had for the game against Tottenham, and then after like a disciplinary situation.
So this happened on the day. This happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's mad. Like, he literally probably had to change his tactics, the way he's going to approach their game on the day, probably on the bus or something. Like, which I find quite mad. The fact that, like, because their performance level was sick. I mean, I think it just touches on what someone was saying in Clubhouse, that I think Tabo was questioning if these players care, and I think they showed they cared yesterday, to be honest.
Yeah, man. It's one of those things, isn't it? We just have to see how Aubameyang responds to this. So obviously, 3 points for the Gooners. Obviously, as well as Arsenal fans would agree, we're in a tough run of games at the moment. We have to take as many points as we can. We have our second leg return fixture against Olympiacos. Like I said, we should more or less see off that game. and then I believe it's West Ham on the weekend. So it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. A team that did actually play West Ham on the weekend was Man United. Wasn't the best of games, as I think Char. What did you call it? A typical 1-0 or
Yeah, it smelled of 1-0, bro.
You know, at the end of the day, it's 3 points, and I think in a way now, Prez, don't bite at me. The way you guys have been playing and not seeing off games, you did it. You actually did. You've been getting a lot more draws recently, and you held the 1-0 to the end, which is probably a massive positive for you to say, that you weren't conceding sloppy last minute goals like you did against Milan. You saw out the game. So not the best of games, like I said, Char, but you got the 3 points. Were you happy though with the performance overall?
Yeah, I actually was. I think me and Prez were going sort of back and forth the other day about how we want United to sort of progress in terms of through the middle of the park, which I agree with. But obviously, it's almost I'm saying sort of be careful what you wish for. But I do think yesterday's game, even though it was a 1-0 game, we were by and large in control. I don't think West Ham posed any real danger. I think it was only until we went 1-0 up that they actually changed. They turned it on. I think they brought on Lanzini and Benrahma, who sort of changed the complex of the way the game was going. However, I think it was sometimes the 1-0 games are probably sometimes the most rewarding because I think now we've kept 4 clean sheets in a row in the league. We've obviously beat a team that have aspirations to get top 4. It wasn't probably the best game for the neutral, but yeah, it was a pleasing game, I think, for most Man United fans.
Anything to add on that one, Prez?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of it, I think there's been a few performances where I've been like, what the fuck is this? But we got 3 points at the end of it, so I can't really complain too much. But yeah, everything that Charles said was kind of spot on. I feel like West Ham rolled the dice in the second half by bringing on Benrahma and Lanzini and opened up the game a little bit more, trying to stretch us, and we were able to kind of beat their press and play a little bit more and get out in the channels. But we didn't convert the many chances that we had in that second half through Greenwood and Dan James, but the chances were being created, which is a good thing. Yeah. So yeah, 3 points is always good, man.
Even though they may have lost the game, I think it was quite obvious of how good of a player Declan Rice is.
Oh man, bring him to Old Trafford, man.
Well, you got competition though, because I'm pretty sure our boy Drew he wants Declan at his club as well.
Eh? Now, to be honest, I wouldn't mind him because I've not really been on the Declan Rice hype train. But I've promised the lads that I'll be keeping a close eye on him, and I see his point. To be honest, however, I do feel like his future is at centre back because I don't feel like he's as good at progressing the ball from the back as people make out to be. I don't think he's good at that at all. But I think he's brilliant at recycling the ball, tackling, covering, interceptions, especially. He's local for all of that, and yeah, he's brilliant for that. Ground, but I don't think going forward, he creates a lot of chances for his team. And I don't know if that's his role, but people made it out to be that that's what the thing.
I do think to an extent, think about who he's playing with, Souček. And I remember hearing like a little interview with Declan Rice where he was literally saying like he has to make the decision to be the holder because he wants Souček to go in and obviously make a difference in the other box. So I do think he is probably playing within himself a bit, but I think for what he does, what he brings.
I mean, you do see him sometimes like venture forward or try to make that pass, but it doesn't click, and then that's where I'm like,
he's not technically terrible, but I do agree with you that like in terms of like maybe with his penetrative passing and progressing the ball through his passing, he's probably not as adept as maybe I initially thought as well.
Yeah, so, but he's good, man. I hold my hands up, man. Yeah, I like him.
I do think he's the sort of player that if he played in a better team,
he'd be more
better. I just think he'd be a lot more because he'd have a lot more of the ball. He could probably be a lot more progressive. I think at West Ham, a lot of the games that he's probably playing, he has to play within himself in it. But yeah, good player, man.
I mean, like adding towards that as well, he could be the potential replacement for Henderson. I think Henderson will be fit for the Euros, but if not,
yeah, he's a natural hire.
He's going. He's going for sure. Anyway, we know that.
He's starting, man.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
100. All right, cool. So 3 points for United. Applying pressure for City. I mean, obviously, I won't go into too much whether they can challenge City, but all you can do is finish as close as you can to the team above you. And I think it's quite it's a fair assessment of how far United have come. Although there are those critics. Shalom, I'm going to come to you quickly. You said, not that he said it, but you're kind of implying that United are in a false position at the moment.
Yeah. Whenever I see United play, I just keep asking myself, how are these guys in second? And I think the answer to my question is they just have players who are very, definitive when it comes to it. So players like Bruno has just been an ace in their pack, I guess. The game against Milan, you could see Milan were actually the team taking the initiative, and boom, United gets a good chance from who is it again? Bruno. And it's like, okay, cool. It's kind of frustrating because you look at a team in second, you look at a team in first and think, okay, yeah, they're really good. Team in second should be, similar, and they should be pushing them. But you look at United and compare them to the team in first, and like, okay, that's a big discrepancy between playing styles at least. And then you ask, okay, can United have? Did they have a good playing style? No, you're boring. So it feels like.
Do you actually think that?
I feel like you're
actually think
boring.
that like.
What I feel
not the
basically.
Do you actually think that City are a lot better than us by that much?
Okay, please don't get confused. You guys beating City, right?
No. I wasn't even going to bring that up.
Okay, cool.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Because for City to go, how many games unbeaten was it? 15 or 18? Something.
The reason why I question that, though, the reason why I question, not even because we beat them, because we usually beat them, it's just that when you look at City's squad, they could have multiple injuries and still play world-class players. United haven't got that squad. So I don't think it's a case of City are just a lot better than us footballing wise. I just think they just have a lot more options than we do.
But I haven't touched about squad.
It makes a difference.
I haven't touched about squad.
I'm saying that you're saying because you were saying that.
Yeah, go ahead.
You were saying that obviously City are first, and you don't understand how we're second. But I'm looking at it from in the course of the season, City have multiple options that they will always win points simply because they're just better than all the other teams.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. In regards to who do you reckon plays the better football, Leicester or United?
Leicester.
Okay,
I don't know.
Leicester.
Ask someone else who hasn't got affiliation.
Guys, can I get your opinions? People, speak up. Who do you reckon plays the better football, Leicester, United?
I mean, with Leicester, obviously, that's an identity.
Correct.
But I feel like it's difficult with United, man, because I hear your point, but I hear the United's boys' point too. Because however we want to spin it, United are getting the job done, and they have been the second best team in the league, points wise and everything wise. If a team gets the job done, even though if they have like you said, the ace in the pack, which is Bruno, they have that Donny, calm. We had that with Suarez, we finished second. We have that with Salah, we finished fourth. Every team has that, at least one Donny that moves mad, and then it papers over the cracks, so to speak.
Fair enough. And I think taking a step further, and this is really up to United guys to answer it. And I think I know that the answer to that is that you guys will obviously make your team better, but this isn't sustainable. That's basically my point, because if Bruno isn't going to, save you guys in each and every game and be the difference, you're going to need more of a team to play. And when I
I struggle to understand the whole Bruno thing, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't want to talk about it, but when it was happening, there was like a 5 to 6 game window when Bruno didn't score or assist. He didn't do anything, and we were still winning. So it's almost like the only snippet of when Bruno didn't do anything, everyone wants to ignore it. But when he does start scoring the assist again, it's Bruno FC. I'm just like, but there's been times when he wasn't doing much, and we were still winning.
Okay,
So which one is it?
Which is fair, but you have to agree that the definitive points or times or matches that give you guys the edge against like the other teams you're above has been Bruno, has been that play, and
but that's what big players are for,
I agree that's what big players are for. But what I'm trying to say is, as a team like United, you need to see that quality more or less spread around your 11, which I'm struggling to see. And another thing I'm struggling.
I agree with Shalom, man.
I'm struggling to see is I really don't trust Ole. I don't see an identity. I'm sorry, but I just don't see. But you know what? But you know what? Fair enough. Like I can't even argue against like what you're about to say, Charles Ole, because he's getting the job done. It's just, I guess, like the discrepancy, and you can never, compare anyone to Fergie. But like for us, and as this is me as an outsider looking as United, I expect you. I need to be worried that when I'm playing United tomorrow, I'm shitting my pants because you guys are gonna out football us or play better. I don't get that. All I know is just stop Bruno and play your football, and more than likely you should win or you should get a result. And that's what happened in Milan game. Milan just played their football and they had the better chances and they drew that game. So when you said like you are very comfortable that you're comfortable and confident about the away game, I'm looking at it and thinking if Milan probably get the Zlatan playing firing, you're going to have a difficult game in the San Siro. So let's just wait and see. But I expect better from United. I applaud you for being second because, like I said, the league doesn't lie. But in case of Arsenal, that's a different conversation. But I just want better.
I just struggle.
So I'll finish it, man.
We move on. Yeah, I just struggle to like. I think people are very much underestimating exactly what Bruno is actually doing in terms of world football at the moment. Donny's got like 23 goals and like 16 assists or something stupid. There's not many players in any team that's going to play to that level. So it's almost like you're saying that other players should be playing at the level of Bruno. But I'm just like, bro, like put Bruno in most teams at the moment, and they're not going to be having the same kind of output or industry that. But Bruno is an output monster. Like that's the reality. So I think it's almost unfair to compare other players around him to him. That's my personal opinion, innit? You might not have to agree with me, but if you look at actually our team, and I think I was speaking to Prez about it before, I can't help but feel that other than probably Bruno, we miss a lot of chances, and that's why I want us to get a world-class striker. And so when we do, we can those big misses that we do have, we finish them, and then the whole reliance on Bruno isn't going to be as much. That's my personal opinion in it, but obviously that's hindsight. But I just think it's kind of unfair to compare other players around him to Bruno because I think he's just playing at a mad different level at the moment to anyone else.
Right, yeah. I mean, like Shalom there said, it's going to be a very, very big game on Thursday night. And then obviously, for you guys actually, unlike the rest of us that are out, you have FA Cup game against Leicester. So it's going to be a big week for Ole and a big week obviously for United. So, hey guys, tune in for the next episode, man. It's going to be a bit crazy. Now, our boy, Weisenberg.
Wisey.
You still with us, mate?
Always, mate. Always.
It's been, interesting week for your boys. Last week we actually missed your game because it was a late Monday night kickoff. You played Everton, and then obviously on the weekend you also had another game where you played Leeds. You beat Everton comfortably 2-0. However, when you came to Leeds, you had a frustrating 0-0 draw. 4 points of potential 6. You happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, no goals conceded. Like, it's improvement. I mean, both games, the major talking point was Kai Havertz being that false 9. I mean, you watch the Everton game and he was destructive against Everton. I mean, the major talking point, he won the penalty. He should have been allowed a goal. I mean, how VAR can rule out a goal for handball, but then the week before rule out the same part of Werner's body as offside. So you can score with it one week, but not in the next. Still quite angry over. But, I mean, it was a good week. Leeds, it was mental how that game didn't end up. How that game ended up 0-0. Mendy was fantastic. Made a couple of saves that I think, like especially that one with Tyler Roberts. I don't think many keepers in world football save.
We need to put respect on Mendy's name, man. He's actually good, man.
Yeah, I think we need to. Yeah.
Then goals conceded this year.
Yeah,
that says it all. But like,
he's so.
He went with a bit of a dip when the whole team did, but I think this system has given him a lot of confidence. Like on the ball, he's surprisingly really good, and then he's just making some cracking saves. Like I say, that Tyler Roberts one, because of his size and his length and his athletic ability, not many keepers are making that save, but he manages to get a touch on it onto the bar.
Yeah, that was a quality save. I saw that, literally fingertips.
Yeah, literally just a little bit fingertips, and then the one where Rafinha spins Aspi. Asby gets a slight touch on it, but for him essentially to change his body position to get a hand on it, point blank, fantastic. Like he's given the defense a lot more confidence, and you can see it radiating throughout the team. We've conceded one goal from the opposition under Tuchel in all the games he's been here, and that was Minamino. It's a crazy, crazy fact. So we're looking good. I'm happy with 4 points.
Yeah, big up Tuchel and how he's just sorted out your defense, man. I have to say, I think we mentioned in the last episode, bringing in Rudiger has really helped that.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably, and alongside of him, Christensen. Wow, like
new player.
That's a remontada, man. Big time.
It's the fact as well because both of those boys, their contract runs out the end of next season. So you're almost getting to the point, especially with football these days and the economics of trying to sell players. If you're going to sell them, if you're not going to renew your contracts, you'd have to sell them this summer. You think is not as far back, but go back to January, you'd probably expect both of those to be sold in the summer because they wouldn't have a future. Rudiger wasn't playing, neither was Christensen. Now you're looking at them both as integral parts of this defense. It was like I said last weekend. I would be very disappointed if Thiago Silva, when he comes back from injury, gets put straight back into the side over Christensen. It wouldn't warrant.
You know that's going to happen, though, don't you?
I think it will. I think it will because I think Thiago Silva has been one of our more impressive. But I'd be upset for Christensen, and he should be playing a major role throughout the end of the season, not just as a rotation option, because he has been fantastic, not just defending, but. And opposed to starting our attacks, he's brilliant. He's always one touch just to take it in, and one pass, it goes straight wide. He doesn't mess about with the ball, and he does try and break the lines of the defense. Whereas Aspi and Rudiger are a little bit safe, and they'll usually just go to the wing backs. Christensen's more adept at actually trying those balls through towards Kovacic, towards Mount, towards Werner, towards whoever, and actually trying to progress us a lot more.
Yeah, he can play, man.
He really can.
And what you said there, I mean, I watched him against Leeds. He just looked so composed. He just, you have that player. As you said, you got Thiago Silva that comes and he shows experience, but he just looks like Christensen is showing true leadership. And obviously, like I said, it would be a shame to see him get dropped, but I think he will. And obviously, you brought in Thiago Silva for a reason, unless. Tuchel says, nah, you know what? Let's leave it as is, which I hope he does, because you always got to play your best team. He's going to be out of form when he comes in. That's Thiago Silva. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But you have a big game against one of Andrew's favourite managers, Diego Simeone. Andy, do you think they're going to be able to turn this around, Atletico Madrid? Because Chelsea played fantastic in the first leg.
That's one of Kenner's favorite managers, man. Yeah, that's Simeone. I don't rate him at all. But I don't know, man. I don't know because Kenner's arguments were like, obviously Simeone, he lives for these kind of what do you call it, like environments, two-legged ties. That's his MO really. So, but I'm not sure because Tuchel is really tactically adept, and he's not gonna, he's not gonna let an L happen. I don't think. Not against Atletico, at least. Chelsea played really well in the away game at the Wanda Metropolitano or wherever they were.
Well, we played in Bucharest.
You played in Bucharest, sorry, but you played really well in that game. So I don't see
a great tactical battle.
Yeah, I don't see Atletico doing anything unless something mad happens. Man.
I can make a safe prediction that it's going to be a tense game, but it's going to be fucking boring. I really think it is going to be a boring game because, I mean, I remember saying it before the first tie. Like I was fooled by Atletico. Like they've been more of an attacking team, not necessarily an attacking team, but in La Liga they were more of an attacking team, and then seeing them go the way they did in that first tie was so disappointing. 6-3-1. I think it's going to be such a tight game. Like you think, like Chelsea are missing Jorginho and Mount with suspensions, so they're going to play Kovacic, and then it's going to be interesting to see who they play in that front three. But obviously, we're not going to go all out. We're going to try and make Atletico go for it. I don't think Atletico will properly go for the goal until at least at the hour mark. I
think they will, man. I think, I think they will attack, but. If they do what you said, then Simeone is a fool, man. But I think they will, man.
I hope so. The neutrals. Yeah, I can't.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
What's going on with Ziyech? Like, what's going on there?
The way I see it, like I've said it for a while, he plays the balls that nobody else sees. The problem is nobody else at Chelsea is seeing those balls. Like it doesn't help as well. It's very similar to the way Havertz at the start. Like Havertz has obviously been a lot better over the last week, but that's such a short sample size. But because he's so languid, he's so relaxed, even when he's pressing, it just doesn't look like he's going in for it. He doesn't look like he's giving it all. And when you're not performing, when you're not getting those killer assists, you're not scoring those great goals, it just looks a bit shit.
It's not his game, man. Quite frankly, it's never been.
Yeah, and I feel for the guy because I think if he would have won, that would have really benefited a proper preseason and a proper time to acclimate and get on the same page.
Yeah,
some of these balls that he plays are genuinely fantastic. Like but I think someone said it a week or two ago. Like he's that one-trick merchant of just puts it onto his left foot and swings it into the far post. And yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to see anything different. He keeps getting opportunities. Like you think he's been getting all these starts. Yeah, Pulisic's first start under Tuchel was against Leeds, and he's been there for 12, 13 games.
But
so,
Jake, do you not think that one trick that he does? Yeah, do you not think that's he's being told to do that? Do you think that's just him, like just doing it rago, like? I refuse to believe that. I'm sure he's.
But he was doing it under lamps as well, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know. But do you think because obviously at Ajax he used to do that quite well, but obviously the other players would reciprocate and be at the second post or the back post, but here it doesn't seem to quite work the same way. Surely the coach must be saying something there, or.
I think it's one of those cases where you look at the way because he's usually played with Mount being on the other side. And Mount's that real connector. Mount's the one that's going to give you the energy, going to give you the drive. He's going to keep things ticking really nicely. I think Ziyech is almost like that moment of magic guy, and so naturally good at just cutting in on his left. Like you can see that, but he's just wanting the results to happen. I think if we do keep him and we take him into next season, I'd be hoping for a strong start from him. Because like I say, I think he just needs that time to acclimise. He needs that proper game time, that training to work on the relationships. Because without that, he's very much just looking like someone that's speaking a completely different language to everyone. He's playing a completely different football game to everyone.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah.
But it's also been a very good day for the future Chelsea stars. England announced their under-21 squad for their European group stages. You can see Callum Hudson-Odoi got selected, Conor Gallagher got selected, and it's looking very positive for you guys. And just to add on that as well, congratulations to all the future young stars that have been selected to represent England in their under-21 European competition. Also, this also, closed some discussions about who's going.
I was literally waiting for it. Like, my days.
The group chat was quiet.
Like, I was just waiting for it. The moment he mentioned under 21, I was just like, here we go.
Quiet.
Well done,
anything to say then, or?
Well, it's about Greenwood.
Who else, man?
Yep.
Who else? No,
Yeah.
well, no, well, if it,
I was
if,
quite
if,
shocked about that.
yeah,
man.
if we're going by what we think is going to happen now that's been announced, then yeah, it's deserved. I think in terms of the course of the season,
This squad is very instructive for the Euros because you think this is the last chance for certain people to impress, and we're also going to. I think we're also going to see the formation that Southgate's going to play, unless he mixes it up. But I imagine he's going to play 5 at the back. But this squad, that is unfortunate.
Do you guys know the format of this under 21 Euros as well? They're playing that next week, the group stages, and then the knockout stages will be in May.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, it'll be broken up.
Where are they playing it? What country?
Slovenia, Slovakia, I think.
Oh, so in theory they could still play for the.
So they can still play. Some of them can still make the Euros.
Yeah. Okay. That changes.
That's why they moved it, because it was going to coincide. Yeah.
So Gunwood has to move mad if he wants a shot.
Allow it.
It's a long shot, but
it's a long shot.
That's his only shot.
It's a very long shot. And speaking of shots, let's get to that bar, man. Boy, I need to warm up my chest. First of all, I'm just gonna go straight into it. I just want to give a shot to the Arsenal team. I doubted them because I thought, I'll be honest, Mitchell, and you can get at me. Some of these guys didn't really understand how big this game is. My legend Ian Wright said it himself: whatever you do not lose to Tottenham. And the boys, performed, showed character, and I just love that performance for them. So I'm going to take a big, strong shot for that Arsenal team. And I know now, I've said this, we're going to get knocked out to Olympia.
I got a young shot, to be honest. Want to take a shot for my star boy, Greenwood, man. I think he hasn't been scoring, which I think a lot of the headlines will obviously be. But you can ask a lot of United fans. I think I'm kind of happier with his performances this season I was even last, even though he was scoring more last. I think he's definitely been a lot better in terms of his overall play. Yeah, so I just think that the goals will come in it. So shout out Mason Greenwood, man.
I'll take a shot. My shot goes to 2 people. First would be Martin Ødegaard for scoring first Premier League goal, and in the North London, that's how we love it. So I'll take a shot for that, for him. I would take a shot for Emil for getting up to the under 21. Shot out to both guys and shots to both guys. So yeah, that's my shots.
I've got a young one for another young red, Amad Diallo, obviously getting his senior goal for United. I'm hoping that he gets many more opportunities to show what he's about. I think he's got bags of talent and he's got a lot to show and potentially a lot to offer, especially in the senior team. So hopefully, with the, I know we're getting players back now, but I'm hoping that he gets opportunities to show himself between now and the end of the season. So shout out Amad Diallo, man.
Any more shots? Cool. Say no more. It's been a very interesting week, and as we just said there, Andy, thanks for informing us about the new format of the Under 21s Championship. It's just gonna be more games. Like we're not lacking games, but please, guys, keep safe. We'll be let outside soon.
Also International Week, so the curious case.
Local.
Finally.
My number 9 scored again. I just need to know if certain. Anyways, I'll save that for another day. Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been episode 55. We'll see you next week for episode 56. Peace.
Love people.
Hey, Kai.